Right, and we are live. Hey, folks. I feel like this is the first time I've ever started stream sitting down. Normally I'm standing. Right, we've got Print Farm's in chat. Hey, Print Farm. And Yeka's in chat, also known as Universe, if anyone wonders, on the Discord. We've also got Phil. Hey, Phil. Hey, am I streaming again on the one time you're not going out and smoking cigars with your mates, Phil? God, twice in a row. Right, so the plan for today, before we get too far into things, I am so tired. I've just done a 10-hour shift, so it's going to be a bit more design talk at the very beginning. Hey, Donator's here too. How you doing, Ollie? Hey, that was a really hard work meeting. Yeah, I'm sure. All right, drinks in hand, cigars in the other. So hard, so tough. I'm good, Ollie. I'm good. Onyeka, you forget that I'm from East Africa and also went to high school in South Africa, so kind of Afro names I'm better at pronouncing than most white people are. Good. Right. Like I said, plans for the stream. I'm really tired, so we're going to take it easy on the building. We're just going to take a few minutes just to go over some CAD changes that we made to Casita. Well, not changes necessarily. There are a few changes, but it's mostly stuff that's just been added. And it would be nice to get some feedback from you guys as well. So we'll start that. Right, so I've got Fusion open already, so we don't need to... I planned ahead for once, so we don't need to worry about me wasting much time. So, most of the changes made, or additions made currently, are to the electronics box. Now, because Casita, the electronics section of Casita is so much smaller, everything's kind of squished. And there's also some extra additions that we haven't seen yet in any of the previous Casa / any enclosures, really. So we'll go over just the layout for now, which means switching over to this panel over here. Let's get rid of the constructions. So I did opt for the printed covers in the back, and there's two reasons for that. Reason number one is that in old Casa, the main span of the din rail would get really wobbly towards the center because there's nothing backing it. So what I've done on these plates over here is made them so that A, they're printable, and B, they have a really cool feature that I'm actually really proud of. So if I isolated one of these plates, for example, there's a little groove in the center. Now generally these are called speed grooves or just locating grooves. But these are meant to be screwed into using thread forming or self-tapping screws. They're generally on steel-backed electronics boxes. But if I zoom in here, you'll be able to see there's a little step down. There's a few different step downs. So each one of these is 0.8 millimeters spaced apart from each other. The reason for that is that's the exact thread pitch of an M5 screw. If you didn't know M5 screws, they're 5 millimeters, 0.8 screw lead. Sorry, I'm getting all my terminology mixed up here. Not lead, 0.8 mil pitch, and the way that you can work out which size hole you need for them is you just minus the pitch from the major diameter. So you need a 4.2 mil hole. So these steps here allow you at any point along the length of that slot to screw in an M5 fastener. So for example, if I grabbed my one that I printed earlier, let's head over to the desk for now. Anywhere along this groove here, I would be able to screw this screw in. And it uses the initial step downs to seat the screw, and then everything past that is just plastic. So this is now a really solid joint. The reason you want it along this line is because you don't know where the cutouts for the DIN rails are going to be. So the DIN rail cutout could be here, it could be here. So if I put set fastening points along here, if I put a heated insert in at certain points along here, it might not line up correctly with one of your DIN rail cutouts. Or the DIN rail cutouts that you do have are spaced differently because it's a different brand DIN rail, this, that, and the next thing. I've seen it happen where they're only spaced 20 millimeters apart on one brand and then 30 mil apart on another brand, for example. So this allows you to basically back and screw in that DIN rail anywhere along the length of it to stop that wobble that you might have had in on old CASA, or even with the electronics box, the UEB. I am going to update the UEB with a bunch of this stuff. I don't know how easy it's going to be because the UEB already has panels and stuff, but I'll do my best. So I'm actually really proud of these plates. They do have little stiffening brackets, and at each point there's a few heat set points for where we're just going to run the printed cable covers. You might also notice that there's a partial threaded hole here. Oh, sorry, not threaded, threaded insert hole here. I learnt this from the Micron when I was doing the Micron build. But if you want to bind two plates together of this size, so let's say you get the middle one, for example. You do a partial hole on one side, and then do the exact same partial hole on the other over here. Alright? So when you go to put your heat set insert in, it will then merge the plates together, and they'll become one plate. I just thought that was cool. That was a cool way of doing it. Right. Next up. So there's various different ways you could lay the electronics out. I'm trying to do power on one rail, and then silo on the other. Obviously, we're going to need some space here. I haven't designed them in yet, but we're going to need some way of connecting the electronics, pushing the electronics through this side and into where the actual enclosure is going to be. So I need to place some holes on this side, but you might have noticed that there's some features on this side. So one of the issues we were having with old CASA, especially with the air-cooled spindles, is that heat would end up building up inside the enclosure itself. So I needed a way of getting cool air into the enclosure, which doesn't sound as easy as you think it does. Those panels fit inside of 2020. Yes, they do. They do. They're 20 mil wide. And they just slot on with some M3 by 10s. So one of the main concerns with if you're bringing air into... Why is my camera turned off? Why's my camera died? Alright, I should be back. There we go. There we go. I'm back. One of the issues with airflow is you need to have a clear path for the air to enter and the air to exit. So on the old CASA, it was just a straight through. So you'd go from the back of the rear fan, it would cool the entire chamber, and then it would pass through the vent at the front. Because I want to reserve that vent for an optional pass through that goes straight into the main cavity, the main chamber, right? I need to have a way to pass air through all the way through the electronics chamber and then have it escape somewhere. And that would be fine if you just left these holes open, because air would naturally try and make its way out of any gaps in it, in the chamber itself. Why does my camera keep turning off? Technical difficulties. Right, there we go. So it would keep trying to make its way out of any gaps that are in the panels, and that would be where these mounts here are. By the way, I found out what was wrong with the USB mounts. They're just not injection molded to the same quality as the Ethernet ones were. But if you file them down, literally just take some sandpaper and one scrape across it, they fit perfectly. So now all the front mounts on Casita fit perfectly fine. And it's the quality of the part rather than quality of the print or design issue, right? So if these are filled up with your USB, your Ethernet, your HDMI, whatever you want to have on your front panel, and my camera's fallen off, gone off again. That's just weird. Okay, it's not a power supply issue. I have no idea why my camera keeps turning off. Give me a second. Why is this? This has worked every single time I've done it before. Right, you can see my overhead instead. I wish I could call IT support. I wish I could call IT support. This is really annoying. Really annoying. Never happened before on stream. That's a completely different power supply, so who knows. Anyways, so let's get back to design stuff. So I needed a way to pass air through here and also without contaminating the main chamber, and also make sure that there was somewhere for the air to actually escape coming from the rear. So I have this little vent here, which is printing just on the printer right behind me. So hopefully that will be done by the time stream ends. Right. And this passes cool air directly through from the front and then into the chamber. Now what happens is you end up with overpressure in the chamber, and the pressure in the chamber will start to build and build and build, and it doesn't have anywhere for the air to go. So two things can happen. Either the intake becomes effectively flooded with air and can't push any more air into the container, into the chamber itself. At that point, you're not cooling anything. Or that air that's in the chamber tries and tries and tries to get at every single little gap that's in the chamber itself. And that's a bad thing if you're using coolant. Because if you're using coolant, all that mist, all that buildup of atomized coolant will try and escape the chamber into your room. So I haven't modeled it yet. If you are going to be running the front fan to try and keep temperatures in check, so that you're not having to deal with thermal expansion of the extrusions on Milo, or Miley in this case, right, you're going to have to run this fan in tandem with a filter fan at the back. And now filtering is going to be a bit different to, say, if you were filtering a 3D printer, because all you have to worry about with a 3D printer are VOCs. Right? On a 3D printer, all you really need to be worried about is VOCs. You might need to worry about particulate, but that's about it. With a CNC filter, you have to worry about deatomizing the coolant first. So you need to make sure that there's some kind of drip tray that collects any coolant. You then need to pass it through a 3-stage filter, all the way until a HEPA filter, just to get the particulate down enough that it's safe to leave the room. So that's going to be a challenge. I'm going to attach to this bottom plate, which is going to need changing out because I already have the old bottom plate installed on Casita. But That's going to be its whole thing. And that's only if you want to run coolant. If you don't want to run coolant, don't worry about it. You don't need that filter, and you can just use the chamber fan. But other than that, yeah. Now, it's a small update, but I have added a little grommet hole for if you're wanting past things. There's occasions where you might want to pass external bits and pieces from outside the chamber into the electronics or into the chamber. So on old revision 3, all the stuff that's now out of date, I had 3 of these intakes for the electronics bay. But yeah, does anyone have any ideas on the best way to lay this entire thing out? Because I'm struggling with the layout. I can't make it any bigger because then the panels would be too big to print on the standard 250mm build plate. So this is the space that we're working with, hence why we have this cross DIN rail. Alright. But does anyone have any suggestions? Whilst you're doing that, I'm going to get up off my lazy ass and we're going to start actually putting things together. We'll head over to the desk first and do some heat set inserts. Swap silo with a VFD. You can't fit the VFD on the bottom, there's not enough space. Alright. Oh, by the way, Jake, I got Linux CNC running on the Pi. I got a first movement out of the EtherCAT with the EtherCAT servers. Oh, cool. Vertically oriented power supply. You could do that, but then it gets in the way of the cable stuff. I suppose I could just steal the problem with vertically mounted power supplies is they wiggle a lot. Like, we have them in the UEB because the UEB is so small that you need to mount them vertically if you want to fit a bigger VFD in. If you're just running the SL3 from the LDO kit, then you shouldn't have to deal with that. These haven't warped from being printed, they've warped from being cooled down. It's really annoying. I've printed these in normal ABS and they're fine, but something to do with the fact that they're printing in a glass-filled ABS makes them warp, but they do flatten out once any pressure is applied to them, obviously. So let's do some M3s. Now I am using the CNC kitchen ones because I prefer them, but I will do a Voron scale one as well. Hey Damascus, how you doing, bud? You guys were right. This camera is way more orange. This was the camera that's on the main one now. I'm going to pause that so that you guys don't have to look at it. If using 2 power supplies, stack them together or stack power supply on silos. That doesn't... That's not the greatest thing, to be honest, because the power supply, one power supply is DIN mounted, and the other power supply isn't. Is natively DIN mounted, I should say. Right, we'll do these ones first. You can't really stack the natively DIN railed ones. My internet went down, what do you mean? Not much. Did a bit more design talk, and then we decided that we were going to move over to the bench to do some heat inserts. Because everyone loves heat inserts. So yeah, this is me. What's everyone been up to today? I got killed at work today. It was awful. I say it was awful. I'm a bit overdramatic sometimes. Just saw the end of your screw channel design is genius. I don't think it's genius. I am proud of it. It's probably one of the prouder ideas I've had for something, you know, something that hasn't been done before. I always feel a bit weird when I'm taking ideas that other people have, well, not taking them. Obviously, I always try my best to let people know that things aren't my idea, or if I'm doing it my own way. Hey, Steve. Now, I don't actually know how well this idea is going to work, but it should be easy enough just to remove these. I'm laying out my fixture plate slash base plate for drilling with a press. Nice. Is it one of ours? Or are you doing a custom one? Yeah. I'm really annoyed. I had a heat press insert for the tool, like this bit here, that was so nice. It would just about give enough pressure to stick to the brass insert so they don't fall out all the time. I hate the fact that this one just constantly falls out. Yeah, you know what? Not enjoying this. Not enjoying that. I think I'm going to remove this feature. This is the first time I've tested it. I think I'm going to remove it. Because it's just not sticking the way I want it to. Unless, I can try again. If I just do one side first and then the other afterwards. What about going 2 flat meanwhile power supplies? They take up the same amount of X room. So, there are DIN-mounted Meanwell's power supplies. I think it's not the HDR. There's a 240. Sorry, a 480 power supply that is DIN-mountable, and that's an option, and it's the one probably I'm going to go with for my personal build. But I want the LRS ones to have be an option because that's most likely what people are going to get in their kits. We have super glue. We do have super glue, but I want to try this. I'm not giving up. Oh, okay, I'm giving up hope. I was going to say I'm not giving up hope, but I am giving up hope. And it's working. It's fine. It doesn't actually matter that much. It doesn't actually matter that much because they're actually held in via these pieces here. I just wanted to see if that was going to be an option. But you know what? It's not. Oh, why am I turning that one off? I still need to do the heat inserts for this one. That was a quick change of mind. You know, sometimes it's worth pushing for an idea and finding out whether or not it will work, and you keep testing and you keep pushing forward. And sometimes you need to just recognize when an idea is a bad idea. You know, if you're gonna fail fast, fail hard. It's all part of the design process. Exactly. You guys gotta remember, this is for the first time ever you're seeing this stream where I've not got the idea or tested anything beforehand. I'm printing them as I go, and things are gonna work or they might not work. Totally inspired by Millennium Projects though. Cheers, man. Cheers. That's all I'm here for. One day I will put my design cap up and say, you know what, there are better people and better places to spend your money than with us. But until then, I'm just glad that I'm inspiring some people. I need a filament recycling setup. Yes, I do. I've asked Creality. I sent a message to Creality to see if I could get their M1. They just ignored me. which is fair enough. You know, gonna happen. Gonna happen. Right. Do I have anything else that needs heat inserts? Not at this point in time. Oh, if you're wondering about that little orange nubbin, you know, this little orange nubbin here, right? It uses the same idea as these, so it's the infill acts as the actual filter material. So this little nubbin here slots into the bottom of this piece, right? Heat insert goes into the top piece here, right? So heat insert goes in there, and it clamps it in place. And there are some TPU seals on here, but if you're wondering how it actually how it lets the air pass, that's how. So this is just gyroid infill. Right. This is just gyroid infill here. And it will let air pass, and then it's 3 walls. This is the aesthetic setting, but with no top or bottom layers. Quality are not the most friendly bunch in my experience. Yeah. They're a company. You don't judge companies like people. Right? Don't judge companies like people. Not because they're not nice or anything. Definitely not because they're not nice or anything. But they have their own priorities that don't always align with what people want. No, but I reply back, well, it would be nice. But again, they probably get thousands of requests for free shit all the time. I mean, if I message Prusa through their normal channels, because I didn't go through a rep or anything. Like, they didn't just blank me from... If I wasn't just talking to a rep and the rep blanked me. I just went through their normal channels. Like, they're not... I'm not anyone special to them. They probably receive 300, 400 requests a day. Right. What do I do first? I can always do that later, so I'll do mid-plate first. I'm worried that because I haven't actually designed in any tolerances for these, being that the frame itself will almost always be slightly oversized. I'm worried that because I haven't done any tolerances on these, and the fact that they printed in glass fiber, they're gonna not be as small as I'd like them to be because of the rough outward surface. But we'll see. I did test this panel. This is the one panel I have tested, so there are already some fasteners in here, although one of them has fallen out. But at least we can slide this panel in. Move it sideways. This is a really nice thing about having a square enclosure. It will always fit on the desk, no matter what orientation it is. You don't have to wrap yourself around like a boa constrictor just to get at the spaces you need. You know what? I'm just going to remove these M3s. Let's stick them to the side for now. It's a custom bridge mill, 400 by 450 area, HR20, DFU 16. Oh, are you the guy who's doing that on the Discord? I think we've chatted about this before. I think I've decided on my new enclosure for Milo being made from... From what? From ply like 950. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the ply ones. A really good hack is, if you want the plywood ones, do your truck bed liner, or like some people call it raptor liner, or raptor paint. it will not only make the ply more durable, it will make it look nice because it's a textured paint. It's not that expensive, and it'll make it scratch resistant. I did it on my original FMJs, and those things were durable as all heck. Image in Discord. Let's go look at this image that is on Discord. Let me get the right channel first so I don't show people the wrong things. Stick them in if possible, guys. If you're gonna send me images during stream, can you put them in Stream General, the Stream General channel? Because I don't want loads of people who don't necessarily want their stuff to be seen on stream. If you post in Stream General, you're giving us permission to be able, giving me permission to show it on stream. So I'm not going to open it up, Damascus, unless you put it in Stream General. I'll even ping you. Images, it's on my build log. Yeah, it's the same with build logs. It's not necessarily because you don't mind your build log being shown. It's because other people might mind what they say being seen on stream. And the last thing I want is for people to have, you know, stuff that they didn't want to be public because some dumbass streamer decided to post it or show what they said on stream. I know technically there's no expectation of privacy when you put things on the internet, but I think I'd rather be active than passive on that front. You know what I mean? I think it's the right thing to do. Alright, I think the first two panels are going to be quite easy to do. It's then going to be not an issue. It's going to be harder to get the third panel in. Jake, is that the truck bed stuff? I've just put in Stream General. Check. No one's... Oh, there we go, eBay. Yeah, that's the same stuff. That's the exact same stuff I've used. Sweet, Universe has put some stuff on. Ooh, this is looking nice. I love how... Alright. I love how it is right next to the TV. Like, you're going to be milling and chilling. Literally. Oh, and next to the PC. Nice, dude. I like that. Oh, so you've gone water cooled with yours. It's a it's a really weird color palette. So you got blue over here, yellow, and purple, and then you've obviously got the brown of the MDF. I dig it. It's chaotic. And this is Rev 3 by the looks of it. Yeah, you did say you were doing Rev 3. So all of this is going to be replaced with a similar styling to Casita. I'm really sorry, but that's what an alpha version of development means. It means it's probably going to change by quite a bit. Probably going to get rid of the drawers. Actually, I don't know. I think on normal Milo, on normal Casa, it should fit fine. So I might just keep the drawers. Who knows? But I haven't got much water running through it at the moment. Okay. Any non-purple or gold are temp and will be replaced. Oh, cool. I only use water-cooled spindles because they are cheap. Air-cooled tend to be cheaper a lot of the time. By the time you've actually done all the water cooling part, the air-cooled tend to be cheaper. Because, you know, the water-cooled part of the water-cooled spindle kind of is important. You can't run them without it. Nice thing for those of you who don't know, water-cooled spindles tend to be a little bit better because you don't need to worry about what speed you run them at. For an air-cooled spindle, the speed, the RPM at which you set the spindle also dictates the speed, the amount of cooling said spindle gets. So a general rule is never run an air-cooled spindle at less than 50%. Otherwise, it will overheat and cook the bearings. But that's just a rule of thumb. If it's a really, really short cut, then you don't need to worry too much about it. I wouldn't worry too much about it. But if it's anything more than like 5 minutes, I really would not run at less than 50% speed. For most people, that would be 12k RPM if you use your Chinese spindles. Yeah, but I often pick up a cheap spindle or two off eBay. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Plastics are cheap and easy to replace. If the frame stays the same, I am good. The frame will stay the same. The frame will stay the same for Casa. Basically, especially for Casa and going forward, until we get to at least V2.3, I don't want any extrusions to change. I might add an extrusion or change the mounting holes for them, as in where the blind holes will sit, a little bit, but I'm not going to be changing the general layout of Casa in terms of extrusions. Which means there will be a mono body version. So old Casa is a split body, but there's going to be a mono body version where the entire thing can just be a single solid piece. And whether or not you want to choose to upgrade to the mono body or keep the split body is up to you. Most water cooled spindles are sold with open loop water cooling that sits in a bucket. Yeah, I think that's a band-aid rather than a solution that they want you to do. They sell them like that, but they expect you to go with a radiator at some stage. Plus, that bucket method doesn't always work. For long cuts, for like even for cuts that are like half an hour long, which isn't really that long of a cut, that bucket will get hot. And again, you'll destroy your bearings over time. Yeah, I'm the fellow with the green extrusions, debugs on... Oh, you're debugs, okay. I hope I'm not too much of a nuisance. But yeah, the most active community I found. Yeah, exactly. But you're never a nuisance, dude. You're not a nuisance. No one is ever a nuisance, unless you're Hazel. Or Phil. Phil's a nuisance. Isn't that right, Phil? Joking. I'm joking. I love you, Phil. Now, I don't think I'll have these... Cause I will probably shorten the eBay on normal Casa to the same size of this, just so I can reuse all the parts. But because normal Casa is 100 mils longer, we shouldn't have the same issues. You should be able to stick everything on one rail and still have everything fit fine. It's just having that 100 mil less, which doesn't seem like much, but it definitely is. It can be a pain. I found water-cooled spindles more expensive than air-cooled. It depends. You can always find stuff cheaper on AliExpress. There's always something that's cheaper, but you're giving something up. You might find that a water-cooled spindle with bad bearings, with just roller bearings rather than thrust bearings, or God forbid, you might even find tapered roller bearings, which is a godsend in a spindle. Right? It might be that that particular spindle is cheaper. That particular water-cooled spindle is cheaper than a air-cooled spindle with decent bearings in it. And yes, the bearing choice does matter. And I'm not talking about bearing material. All the G-Penny people constantly keep advertising the fact that they have ceramic bearings. I'm talking about the style of bearing and not the material it is made out of. The spindles that come with the LDO kits have the correct bearings in them. They're a little bit more expensive, but they work perfectly. And you're not going to have to buy a new spindle every single time you mill something. How's that look from this side? Yeah, flat enough. The din rail, having the din rail installed will flatten it out a little bit more as well. Casita sounds like a telenovela character. I have no idea what telenovela is. Right. Ceramic versus steel is no different. Yeah, they're different. They're just not significantly different where you should actually worry about it. It's all marketing BS. On behalf of Big Spindle. Oh, speaking of which, I need to print off the little din rail mounts, which I should do now, so that way they'll be done by the time we need them most likely. What do I have? Any? There we go. Right, one of my P1Ss can do that. Alright, that's glass filled. I need to get... Right, I'll launch that right now so I don't need to wait too long. Oh, this is really annoying. All my camera stuff, so you can actually see what I'm doing, is linked to my main camera. It's really annoying. Why is my main character? I'm still pissed off by that. Raven Raid Studios, how you doing, bud? How are you doing? Oh. What has he actually said? Oh. Fabreeko Studio popped up before I could actually read what his message said. Is he quiet for you guys too? I don't know. Am I quiet? Am I quiet? Nice seeing you too, man. Is Miley on the basement piece that is multicolored print? Yes. Yes, it is. All good for you, says Ollie. For sound. Okay. I need these mounts here. No, not the screw. I don't want the screw. That one. Saves mesh. Okay. Did rail enclosure mount. Hey, oh yeah, forget. These are mirrored. They're not. There we go. Save mesh. Should be B. I swear, half of the design process in terms of time is going through and renaming all the things that you forgot to name at the beginning when you were actually modeling them, and changing them to the right name so that people actually know what the hell you're talking about. Right. Yep, that's the right one. Okay, okay. Maybe SGF. I'm going to put these at semi-structural because they're quite small pieces, so they don't benefit as much. SS, so semi-structural. And then I'll also need okay. Alright. Flip them the right way around. What? This is weird. Why is it saying that it's this tall? Why lines? Have you used the print utility option in Fusion? I did when it first came out, but you know, I haven't since. Arrange all those. What? If you want a different plate, then use a different plate. Why are you not organizing yourself? Okay, that one's fine. That's the mirrored one. Okay, there's something wrong with the fact that I mirrored that. So I'm just going to clone that. Okay, clone that part. And then mirror along Y. Yeah. Just for now, just so that we can get these printed. Alright, name SS, perfect. Slice plate. Thinks it's taller than the build area. Yeah, I don't know why though. Don't know why. I could do try fix model and stuff like that, but the issue is going to still be in the CAD itself. It's probably because it's something to do with component stacking, is my bet. Alright, we'll print those. How long is this going to take? 37 minutes. Okay, it'll probably take less time than that if I bump it up to the sport setting. Send that. Oh. The Core 1L has been printing as well. I really enjoy this machine. I have been loving this thing. Yeah, so I've got the P1S with the 6mm, so 0.6mm nozzle printing the vent that we talked about earlier. I've got the Core 1L printing the plate that it attaches to, you know, the subplate that goes in there. That's obviously printing what we just set up, and then the Centauri Carbon is not printing anything right now. But again, for the people who are mocking the fact that I have so many printers, this is why. Yes, you could probably fit it all on one bed, but then it takes so much longer, and I can't do it on stream, and I can't make rapid changes. Right. I'm going to go back to the oven. Back to the overhead. Right. That's everything. Oh, by the way, it's not an exact match for the Prusa ASA Orange, but this is the closest glass-filled one I could get. It's an eSun branded one. It's 10% ABS-GF. I'm gonna see how much difference it makes when this is printed versus the Prusa ASA. Just because I want orange to be the main color for the Miley that's going to go in here, but I do want it to be glass-filled ABS because those are going to be the biggest parts. I do have the the carbon fiber PC that Prusa sent me, but I'm saving that for the Miley build as well. Also, Bamboo Labs, what the fuck? Right? I know that the whole moose thing is meaning you can't get a lot of petrochems through to make filament, but you're out of black glass-filled ABS until June, until the end of June. I have one spool left of this stuff. Well, one full spool left of this stuff. I genuinely don't even know if we'll get this build done because I need that. Everyone also does it, but they're more expensive. Printing the 16 basement skirts took 1 day, 8 hours to print. Made me want a second printer. Yeah! Yeah! Having a second printer just means you can do more stuff. And there's nothing wrong with being able to do more stuff. Bigger is betterer. More is gooderer. And I will not elaborate, thank you very much. If Tommy ever watches this, Tommy from Prusa, stop making me jealous by having the index upgrades, because I really want one and I can't afford one. I don't want the 4-tool one, I just want 2 tools. Make a 2-tool version of the index. I would buy that shit so fast. Right. Let's get these lined up, shall we? I know everyone wants to do like loads of big multicolor prints and stuff like that. I don't want that. I just want sport material, like PETG or something, and then to print ABS. You know, dissimilar. I just want dissimilar materials. I really need to separate my black nickel coated ones fasteners from my stainless steel ones, because having to shake them out just to get them is really annoying. Right. So one thing I am going to have to do because of the texture on this is I'm going to have to just shave it down a little bit. That's the one thing about glass-filled ABS, is you need to add a whole lot more margin on the parts. Jake, I plan on having my first cut sometime this week after I confirm the tram, because I moved Milo and adjusted spindle height. Oh, cool. Can you come hold my hand? Oh, I'll hold your hand in spirit. But past that, you're on your own. Yes, we are getting the burr out, because the burr is faster than doing it by hand. And also, machine gun burr. Also, Onyeka, with the new ones, with the new basements, it won't take that long to print anymore. Hopefully, I think. Don't quote me on that one. It shouldn't. Oh, there's still dust in there from... Oh, there was still sawdust in there from when I did the bench. I promise my neighbors like me. Right, is that enough for it to fit? Oh, I did the wrong... I was meant to do that side. I did that side. Honestly, why the hell do you guys watch me stream? I'm just an idiot. Try not to sand the top of my bench down. There we go. This one's gonna have, I'm gonna have to place the screws and then take them out afterwards. You were getting the rough edges off, and deburring process should not have been taken lightly. Yes, that. I was able to fit all the basement pieces on one plate, and I let it run. Was to take 1 day, 20 hours, 6 hours or so to print. Oh, cool. Yeah. Also, has the U1 kind of been dethroned already? I know. Who is it? Who's making the? Is it the Adventurer 5M? I forget what the company's called. Again, that's another company who They made shit printers for such a long time. They just made horrible printers for such a long time. I don't trust them as a company, but everyone's coming out saying that they've got this new tool changer that's actually pretty decent. So that was the thing I did with Snapmaker, where I went, I don't trust Snapmaker. And then they came out with one of the best tool changing systems in the last few years. I got trust issues, man. Also, it is really hot in here. I'm going to take this jacket off. Flash forward. Cool. Yeah. I don't like flash forged printers. They've made shitty printers for such a long time. I can't trust them. Do I need to sand this down anymore? I don't want to sand it down anymore. If I loosen these off, that's the wrong screwdriver. Longer is another one of my favorite trash printers. They do resin printers, don't they? I've never seen a Longer FTM machine. Was it Artillery who they were Artillery, then they tried to ship to the US and it was causing issues. Then they changed the name to a different brand. They changed their branding to a different name. And then everyone lost their credibility because everyone was looking for Artillery machines, so they changed their name back. I think I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and sand that down some more. Longer makes some CR10 clones. Yeah, does Longer still even exist? I know Artillery doesn't exist anymore. Just realised I should probably wear glasses when doing that because this is glass-filled ABS. I'm probably just shooting glass fibre into my eyes. Oh, it's so close. We are so close. Alright. Before I forget it, I'm going to do this now. Alright. I'm going to take minus 0.2 off of there, and that will update the other side. I won't change the one in the middle. And I'll do the same. This piece is a copy of that piece, so this one will have been updated alongside that one. Alright, I'm going to take minus 0.2 off of there. Oh. Ah, there's a chamfer there that's causing an issue. Gonna guess it's this one. Huh? Okay. I'll do that one later. Sovel SV08 Max is calling to me, but I want to build my own Voron to perform. I feel like in today's day and age, if you're going to be building a Voron, you might as well build a Voron and not have a kit that is a Voron. That is basically a Voron, but not. You know what I mean? Like, there are certain things you need to accept as a Voron owner. And one of them is the potential I'm not saying that all Vorons are unreliable, but the potential for not having a reliable printer around. And as far as I've seen with the Sovol machines, whilst they're good machines on paper, they have all the issues that a Voron could have. You know what, I'm going to cheat. I need to take this back panel off anyway. So I'm going to take the back panel off. Again, wrong screwdriver. If I take this off, then I can loosen the blind joints up. Wrong size screwdriver. Am I ever going to pick the right size screwdriver up? Hey, it's Jormungand here. Jormungand's here. How you doing, bud? We missed you this stream. You can't just go live when I'm not home. Yes, I can. You can't just be not home when I'm going live. Hopefully that now gives me a bunch of wiggle room that I can use. To get this in. It's so close. Giggity. There we go. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Fits like a glove. Like a glove. Perfect. If I haven't lined up any of these M3 T-nuts, I am going to cry. Timer started. What's the timer for? Oh, you don't know about the timer? God. How dare you? We don't mention the timer, okay? We don't mention the timer. We do not mention the timer. New people. Gosh, I know, right? This is my second live stream. It's not my fault it's your second live stream. That's a you problem, not a me problem. How can you not know about the timer? There's a big energy product being planned near me, where I live, so I had to be at a meeting thing about it. So sorry for being here, for not being here when it starts. That's all right, I'll let you off. Just know that I will also reduce your holiday days. We're here to do business, son, not muck about with energy infrastructure. God. Let's do the flippy flip.
awesome. I'm getting my own solar panels installed in 2 weeks. Far too big for us. 8 kilowatts plus 8 kilowatt batteries. Ooh. See, a lot of the time people will sell back to the grid, so you can do a non-battery system, solar system. So the expensive part of solar is always going to be the batteries. The solar panels themselves aren't overly expensive, but what you can do is you can get a solar setup going and then sell back to the grid, and that way you offset the cost of your monthly electricity bill. And they usually just deduct it from your monthly bill. I would love to, but because of where I live, they will not allow us to have solar on the roof, which is annoying. I have tried. Selling to the grid is not worth it in DK. Isn't 8 kilowatts too small for a home? Yeah. Not necessarily. It depends on the home. My parents back in Kenya have I think it's a 20 kilowatt array, but that's because my mum runs a bakery out of the house, and the main oven pulls, I think, nearly 9 kilowatts just by itself. It's a huge oven. It's like the size of half this room. Right. So that's what that looks like from this side. Lovely. And now I'm going to disappear for a couple minutes whilst making grunting noises off in the distance, so I can get my din rails that are in the attic. Woo! I'm back. I'm back because I need a head torch. Where did I put my head torch? There's my head torch. Whee! Whoop! You missed me. Oh, for God's sakes, there's wasps in here. Every year I have to kill wasps that nest up in my attic. Don't even know if you guys can still hear me. Ugh. Want to let me know if you can still hear me? Smash the like button. Ugh. Ugh. So dark in here. Ladder's coming down. Don't worry, Brisket. Don't worry, bud. This must be so entertaining for you folks. I should have thought about this beforehand. I'm too fat. I'm too fat. There we go. I've got one. We're not doing the other dinner rail today anyway, so that shouldn't matter too much. Sorry, buddy. There we go. Whew. Is that sorted? Come on, bud. Come on, buddy. What the fuck did I come back to? Oh, turn off your... There we go. Hey, buddies. You came back to fun times. You came back to fun times. Still got the micron end on this one. What have I missed? You left, we had fun. Oh. Oh. Why did I get left out? Right, we need to cut this down to. I'm gonna cut it down slightly more than 700 mil. Technically needs to be 700 mil, but right, buddy, you're gonna hate me if you're in here whilst it goes on. Come on, come on. Right, give me a sec. I'm gonna go grab him a ball. Alexa, living room lights on.
Okay.
There we go. Brisket is now distracted, and we can get the angle grinder out. Buzz, buzz, motherfucker. Were you guys able to hear me in there? Like, I don't know if I was just talking to myself, because I couldn't see chat. I think we need, do you know what? I think we need a voice channel for stream. Like, who would be up for a voice channel for stream, right? Where you guys can actually, some of you can actually talk to me on stream. We could hear you. Perfect. I feel like it would be a bit chaotic if we had everyone talking at once. It would be nice to have like Jormungand on stream, or people who have been coming for a long time. It's one of those things that I would be more than happy to test. I'm not necessarily going to say that we should always do it. Cool. Always test it. And you don't have to listen to my ugly bug of a voice every single time we do anything. Alright, I'm gonna turn my mic off for this one.
Right, since Jormungand decided that we needed all the protection at once, I think this is what we're going to do for the rest of the stream. I think this is the best way to stream. Ear protection. I don't have my earmuffs with me. They're still in the container. Right, that should fit quite nicely now. I've still oversized it somehow. I'm not oversized. It's just the right size. You know, I tried my best to undersize it. Insert another picture of a disappointed man. I know, I'm a bad boy. And not in the fun way. What was I looking for? Right, the actual mounts will get done in 7 minutes. So we got 7 minutes to kill. Oh, yeah. I've had these since last stream, and we were meant to put them on, but we never got around to it. So these are the little braces that can go in the corner. They're completely optional. only reason I have them is because they add a little bit more color to the inside of the enclosure. So we can get a start with them. They will add strength as well, but you probably don't need them. We just want you to be healthy. I know you do. I know you do. Right? And I want to be healthy too. But I have ADHD and I forget things. And I forget to go and do the most menial tasks. Right, I need M5 by 8. Those are M5 by 6. Oh, M5 by 8. I swear I have M5 by 8. There we go. M5 by 8. We want it to be full brisket, yes. And if you've ever noticed, I'm going to take this off because it's like really hot. If you ever noticed, whenever I do anything in here, I make sure that brisket isn't in here, and it's the only reason I don't run coolant. Because coolant would kill brisket. If you have any dogs, or you work in an enclosed space, or any cats, or anyone who lives with you who could have some respiratory issues, please don't run coolant inside the house. All right, inside your, even if it's in the enclosure, anything inside the enclosure will eventually leak out, especially if it's pressurized, right, and cause respiratory issues. Jormungand is completely 100% right, and I should have all my PPE with me. And I'm not going to deny it. God, the one fact I really hate is the fact is my earphones turn off the music whenever I'm not listening to it. Someone sent me a message. Yeah, never mind. Never mind. Alright. Let's get back to putting these bits on und pieces in. Bits und pieces. Insert picture of less disappointed man this time. Hey, at least we're trending in the right direction. Did I set these up for M5 by 8s or M5 by 10s? I think I did M5 by 10s to keep them standard, so... Don't know why. The reason you would do M5 by 8s is because that's the standard for corner cubes. But I think I did it M5 by 10 because we were already using M5 by 10s, and it means we have less individual different fasteners to do. To add to the bomb and stuff. Keeps the bomb easier to source for people when you don't have a million different parts. Well, we do have some parts of our names in common. J? It's literally just J. You don't have an E at the end of Jormungand. Oh, Jormungand looks like the old guy from Up. Oh my god.
That's because I keep getting you two mixed up because you've both got the Clippy as your picture. Apparently, there's a Linux version that is all about Clippy, and not in a fun, loving way. Definitely in a loving way, but not in a fun, loving way. In a weird, loving way. I don't know how I know that. I just know I was probably in the depths of Reddit somewhere. And that's always a dangerous place to be. Loving way. Not caring. Loving. Which is really weird, because I'm pretty sure I'm not actually old enough to have ever seen Clippy as a thing in terms of being in use. So I'm pretty sure Clippy is a Microsoft thing. Because Tux is Linux. And Clippy, I'm pretty sure, was a Microsoft thing. So why is there a Linux version dedicated to Clippy? Who knows? Oh, those parts are just finished. It'll be a while for the plate to cool down. Clippy was the assistant in 90s version of MS Word. Oh, cool. Yeah, I thought it was Microsoft. Or Microslop, as the kids like to call it nowadays. All right, next stream, Yomagan, you and me. We're gonna be in chat. And maybe like Phil or something. I don't know. I just think we need more character. Either that, or we need someone who's going to shout at me to actually wear my PPE. I love how I said at the beginning of the stream, I'm going to be tired, I'm not going to do too much, and we are an hour and a half into the stream. I was expecting this to be like an hour max. And you guys got me to climb into my attic as well. How dare you? How dare you all make me climb into my attic? Definitely wasn't my choice. I'm not a human. I'm not a sentient human being. And I cannot be held accountable for my actions. It's changed. Ooh. Wanted to see how many bottles of shampoo you've got. Why? Did you guys see into my bathroom? That's just creepy. You weirdos. They're just shampoo-shaped bottles of gin. That's all. It's not that I've got loads of shampoo bottles and I'm really bad at throwing them away. It's just that I'm an alcoholic. I mean, come on. If you, I'm gonna admit some stuff to you guys. If you've ever seen me on stream at the very, very beginning of when we did all this, right? I was always slightly tipsy because I was so nervous to appear on stream. I needed to psych myself up beforehand. That's not a good thing to do. I don't encourage it. And generally, I'm not someone who drinks a lot. But I used to drink before every stream, or at least have a shot or something, just because I was so nervous about it all. It's not a thing anymore, but it was. Perfectly normal having gin ready for your bath. Of course. Perfectly normal. I'd say healthy, in fact. Has anyone seen if Mandic's going to be streaming at all soon? Because he keeps upgrading his office to do a bunch of streams on, and then never does the streams. I should probably message him, actually. Should probably message him. See, I'm a known entity to a lot of YouTubers now. I'm a known entity. Like, people know me by name without having met me. But I'm not that well known enough that I could just go up and ask people things. Like Taylor from Canuck Creators, Nero. I've gone up to him and talked about nonsense before. Like we hung out for a tiny bit after Smurf. Talked about Gundam. Because Gundam is the shit. But that's pretty much it. I think Mandic does struggle a little bit with just talking to random people because he's got ADHD, which is, again, that's fine. I'd struggle doing that. Daniel's someone I'd like to go on stream with. I've still not met Daniel in the flesh. If you don't know who Daniel is, I'm talking about Daniel from Modbot. I've chatted on stream with him a couple times. Just basically, I update him a lot on what we're actually doing in the project whenever I hop on his streams. Because he's doing a Core 1 to... Mark 4S to Core 1 upgrade. Core 1 Plus, sorry. I've made the mistake of forgetting that I had all these Torx M5x10s. So there's now both Torx M5x10s and Allen Key M5x10s in here. That will not be a thing in the bomb, don't worry. What's your favorite Gundam? Barbatos. Barbatos from Iron-Blooded Orphans. Mikazuki's one. Ariel's cool, but I don't know. I find the idea of having someone inside of a Gundam, in terms of like their soul inside of a Gundam, quite freaky. I'm not part of the Gunpla group. Like I've never done Gunpla or even looked into it. So if there's a lot of Gundams that you can only get on the Gunpla side, I won't know them. By the way, do we have a service like Boron Piff, but for milling Milo parts? No, we don't. We're looking into it, but we did have a Piff program for a while, and we had someone who could provide across pretty much every single continent other than Asia. And out of all of that, we had one order. There was one order for parts. So we closed the PIF program down. A MIF program, we're looking into it, but we don't know how to run it. Bobatos is cool, but I like the double lot better. Yeah. Everyone has their preferences. And I'm still fairly new to Gundam as well, so I've only watched the original series, ZZ, or ZZ if you're American, Iron-Blooded Orphans. I watched a bit of Reconquista. I don't know how to say that. Hey Raj, how you doing, bud? Oh, and obviously, Witch from Mercury. I also watched G-Quux. I wasn't a big fan of G-Quux just because it was a bit too anime girly. You know, oh, there's these two very underage girls who are basically trying to impress this boy. Yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of that. I like the idea of a twist on the Universal Century universe. I really struggle with the animation of the earlier Gundam series. Like, I forced myself through the original series, but I wouldn't do it again. I would not watch it again. Did you see the orange ABS I posted for you? I have. I've used that ABS in the past. It's not very close to the Prusa orange ASA. A slightly closer one is this stuff from Isun we talked about earlier on stream. It's their glass-filled one. It's still not great, but it's better than the Bamboo Lab stuff in terms of trying to match that orange. What I've noticed with glass-filled stuff is it tends to lean slightly milkier, slightly whiter than the more vibrant colors that you can get. Print Farm. I won't do it right now because you're already talking to him and I'm on stream. But can you, fiber filled is my favorite just because it's structural. It's not what I recommend building things. Sorry, it's because it's easy to print. It's not what I actually recommend building Milo out of. Just go straight ABS for Milo. I like fiber filled because it looks cool, hides layer lines, and I don't need to deal with warping. But we actually design the parts for ABS. So if you could tell them to print it in ABS and not glass fiber reinforced stuff, you can do it in glass fiber reinforced, but you've got to also come to terms with the things, some aspects as it, you know how we had the issue with this panel earlier? That's because it's glass fiber, not because it's a glass fiber part that was designed for a plain ABS part. Got it. Sweet. Thank you very much, bud. Also, plug the stream. Tell him to come watch stream. You can ask his questions directly then. I was planning to print orange accent. I was planning to print orange accent parts, but found that the only orange I've got is PLA, and it looks less orange and more brown. Yeah, orange is a hard one to get right. Although, if you mix the bamboo blue with the Prusa mint orange, that color combination is so good. It was what my original Trident looked like, and I loved it. I tried to replicate my original Trident's color scheme on the switch wire that we built, but the colors just looked too washed out because it was the eSun stuff and not stuff that I had been using. I've just realized I can't put that one in there, so never mind. Right, I'm gonna leave the last corner for now because I want to do the eBay first. I want to get the eBay, well, not finished, but sorted a bit further by the end of stream. Alright. If you folks happen to like the stuff that we do here, please do feel free to like the smash button. Sorry, smash the like button. I don't want to do Nero's thing. Alright. It really helps the channel out. Means that we grow faster, means that we get more people in chat, means that we have a more fun time on stream. And every view is one step further to us getting monetized on YouTube, which is one step further to us getting a bit more money to finish projects. Right, that's what I was doing. I was trying to get the prints off this printer. There you go, those turned out pretty all right. The anime that I got me into watching anime was mecha anime called Noah Zero. Mecha anime are cool. Now I'm stuck on One Piece. Oh god, I can't commit to One Piece. I just can't at this point. It's too far. It's just gone too far. I've watched the One Piece live action. I didn't mind it. You know, I'm still gutted that they got rid of the live action Cowboy Bebop. That was an amazing anime. Oh, sorry, live action version of an anime. That's the cut side, so I need to push it on from this end because I haven't deburred it. Oh, my earphones are dying. There's also a Patreon. Yes, there is also a Patreon. Link down in the description. Shameless plug. I found a deal for 5 kilograms of Sunlu ASA in black and white, and it's going to be printed. I'm just going to print stuff in that. I would hesitate against white because you're gonna hate having that in a machine. I did a white build for a V2. I think Furky has it at the minute. Yeah, I gave it to Furky. But even before it left the studio, it was gross. The studio? This is not a studio. This is a spare bedroom in a moderately sized flat. Started anime 2016, same year started One Piece. Ah, fair. I plugged Patreon for you shamelessly. See, this is why we need you on stream, Yormagand. The frame ate a T-nut. It ate it, gobbled it up. I'm not going to be able to get it back. So I must sacrifice another. Please don't stop reminding people. I just forgot to like the stream until you reminded me. I won't do. I thought white ABS had some structural issue because of the chemical used to make it white. It's not something I'm aware of. I mean, ABS does striate white when you break it anyway. I'm pretty sure natural ABS is kind of an it's kind of an off-white anyway. But I don't know is the answer. I don't know enough to comment on that. Yeah. I'm not that big of an anime. Like, I say that the last like 3 seasons of any show that I've watched have all been anime. But I wouldn't say I'm an anime junkie. Like, I like good stories, and they tend to be quite good. And there's a bunch of anime silliness I don't like, but it's just the way I am. It's just the things I like. Like stuff like Freerun. It can exist in pretty much any form, anywhere, and still be good. Like, anyone should be able to watch Freerun and say that they like it, because it's just that good of a series. Oh, that's why it's not fitting, because there's still the M5 I put in at the very beginning of stream. That's getting in the way. For the fusion files, do we need to change both post-processor and the machine definition for the V2, or just the definition? Both. We will need to change both. What am I doing? Ep3. But honestly, if you just plug in the sizes to Claude or ChatGPT, it does a fairly good job of editing the post. Oh. Where did that go? God damn it. Ugh. M3s that I've got in stock right now are not great. The M3 T-nuts. They're very... they don't like staying in very much. There we go. I can feel that one's actually got threaded this time properly. You can always tell when I'm getting a bit tired on stream because I stopped speaking as much. I don't mean it. I need to get better at that. I need to get better at constantly blurting something out that's actually worth listening to. Hey. Right, this is starting to look really good. Why would KOH not be considered an anime? It's just because it's not Japanese. Yeah, I struggle with the definition of what anime is. I get that anime is meant to be a. It's not even a Japanese thing because you can get a lot of there's a lot of anime that's Korean nowadays too. I don't watch subbed anime. I watch dubbed anime, and I know that's a faux pas with a lot of anime watchers. But I like to do it when I'm designing things. I like to watch it when I'm designing things. So for me, it's a case of I don't want to have to look at screen. Cool. So at the minute, ugh, can you guys see? There we go. At the minute, if you're at mid-span, the din rail flexes a lot. This is a thing from the old design as well. So it's already flexing a lot less than it did on the old design because it's directly backing up against the plate itself now. On the old one, it was just in midair. Now, we're actually going to use those little speed slots that I talked about earlier, which will require 6mm screws. I'm going to do one right in the middle. Simple as that. Oh my god, that makes a hell of a difference. Let's see if an 8mm, because I think 6mm is sitting a little bit too shallow. Where are my 8mm? I had 8mm earlier. By 12. If I by 8, there we go. Basically, anywhere that you feel like you need a little bit of adjustment that has a hole, you can now do this with. Oh my god, that makes such a big difference. So it makes it easier to learn a new language, but personally, I'm too old to use the method to learn a language. I didn't know you were an anime fan. I usually am just listening to TV when I'm working on the same time. Yeah. I do think there's snobbery from both sides about what is and what isn't an anime, because like people will judge an anime because it's Japanese and weird and kawaii or that the next thing, and then they'll go and watch Invincible on Amazon Prime. That is an anime, or they'll go watch Pokemon. Like, it's all anime. Probably overdoing these fasteners. I think you probably only need like 1 or 2. But rather do... There's no kill like overkill. Alright. So let's do a comparison test. Let's do some A/B testing. All right. So before it's quite floppy. Now rigid. Absolutely rigid. There's no flex in that. Well, no significant flex, which means that's going to be a lot easier to actually mount things on. It's always the big one, the big thing that was the issue. You can get away with it on Vorons because the span isn't as big. I grew up with German TV being the only place to watch movies, so I learned German that way, same as English. Ah, fair. Claude versus ChatGPT. I use Claude. I don't want to support ChatGPT, OpenAI, so I use Claude. I use it very, very rarely, and almost only for code-based stuff. And it seems to be that a lot of programmers have adopted the use of AI, so I don't feel as bad about it as I would if I was doing AI-generated art, for example. Basically, whatever the industry trend is, in terms of the people actually doing the things that they need to do within that industry, if they think it's bad to do it that specific thing, I don't use AI. If people within that industry find it okay to use it, and they use it daily, I have no issues using it. So the people who do a lot of IT stuff, a lot of code-based stuff. Hey Nadia, how you doing, man? You same Nadia from Jonathan's streams, from Next Layer streams, or am I thinking of someone completely different? Are you the guy who did the Voron, not the Voron, the Sovol tool changer? I think you are. I think you are. Who knows? Personal experience, it seems using AI for coding is generally tolerated by most and embraced by a minority. Few people actively oppose it. Yeah, it's one of those spaces that seems to be all right to use it. Cool. I'm gonna put the rear panel back on. The new one. Where is it? Where is the old one? The new one. There we go. Right, I gotta do magnets quick. Gotta do some super glue and some magnets. Right, I'll get the magnets in the right way around this time, I hope. These the same ones? No. Different size. Oh, do you remember the stream beats we listened to last time, the rock track? And I really enjoyed it. We got copyright striked for pretty much like 17 different tracks. I didn't get any channel strikes. It just means any revenue we would have made goes straight to the original creators. So we're not going to lose the channel or anything. But yeah, don't always... It just goes to show you, don't always listen when they say that they are stream beats and that they have the royalties for them. That there are no royalties for them. I don't see an issue with using AI for coding. Just don't trust it outright. You need to understand the code. Yeah, I don't know. I am not a coder, and it seems to spit things out quite good for me. I'm not an IT guy. Yeah, I can understand G-code. I can understand G-code pretty easily and stuff like that, but very basic stuff. But it helps a lot. It helped a lot with my Clipper install when I was trying to rebuild. The Clipper side was all fine. It was just something is up with my hardware on my Trident. Speaking of, Raj, I need to get back to you about that. I need to get back to you about the Trident, because a little bit of in-life stuff. I had someone in my close-ish family have a bit of a crisis that I had to deal with over the last few days. So to anyone who wanted to send me anything or do anything or ask anything and I wasn't able to respond, I'm sorry, that's why. The trick with inserting magnets is to start inserting them in one part and then use that part to make sure the magnet... See, I've done that before, and then any overspill that happens from glue just ends up gluing the two parts together. So, for certain parts I do it, for certain parts I don't. No worries, whenever you're ready. Cheers, man. I will answer you, I promise. I just, need to be reminded every now and again, because ADHD brain no worky sometimes. And B, need to not have drama that's constantly happening. But drama is sorted for now. Ah, no, I've glued a second set of magnets together. God damn it. I really need to get more out of here. Nope. The vent's finished printing. We can have a look at the vent now. I'm going to let that cool down a bit. I'm going to let that cool down. Otherwise I'm just going to damage something. Right, and we also need to get these parts. The switch and the C20 connector out. Americans, because of your effed up electrical system, we have to use a C20 socket just to get Milo to work because of how much power, because of how much current gets pulled. The C13 cables, for all possible combinations of spindle, won't work. If you're using a 2.2 kilowatt spindle, this is the only reason we have a C20 connector in here. If you were in the UK, you could have got away with a C13. Cheers, Raj. Yes, I'm all good now. I'm all good now. We had a bit of a scare, but it's all good. I'm not going to go too much into detail, if that's all right with everyone. But suffice to say that we're in a much better place than we were even 4 days ago. Right. Glue should have set by now. There we go. Only difference with this plate versus the old one is it's got a grommet spot for it. So I do plan to put a PC in here. No, sorry, not a PC. I plan to put, if anyone's noticed, this is just an S21, Samsung S21 running DeX as my kind of secondary display. I'm literally going to put, it's an old phone, the screen barely works on it. I'm literally going to use that as the interconnect, the PC for this whole setup. Because DeX is all you need. You just need something that can access the internet, is lightweight and doesn't pull very much power. A phone is a perfect thing, a perfect example of a computer that doesn't need to pull very much power and is more powerful than it needs to be for just browsing. Who would have thought I'd actually find a use for DeX? I was originally planning to put this mini PC in, but It's only got a 6100T in it, an Intel i3 6100T. It was $20, and it's way less powerful than the processor in the S21. So I'll probably use it as a storage server at some stage or something like that. Looking sweet. Yeah, and Pi processors are mental. Yeah, they are. Adding a screen like that to a Cascade would be nice. Yeah. I do have a Samsung S10 that I don't use. I don't know. Well, actually, no, that's true. That's very true, because I was going to say, don't know if the S10 does, but my Note 9 has DeX on it. I think it was the first year that DeX was a thing. Up until very recently, I'd been running a Note 9 as my main phone. Now I've got a Pixel 7. I tend to run phones into the ground. Until it stops having security updates, I don't mind having a slightly slower phone. The S21 was my mum's old phone that she gave me to see if I got it, because the screen was balked and the battery was balked on it, so she wasn't using it anymore. Hence why I have that S21 and why I'm reusing it. I just don't like the idea of getting rid of phones. There's so little you do on your phone that requires the processing power of the new updated stuff every year. I can get it with like a GPU on a computer or even the CPU, because you're getting gains for big heavy workloads. But if you're just using it to access the internet or watch YouTube, I don't understand why people need to upgrade every single year. It's almost tomorrow now, and I need to get to work in about 6 hours. I'm gonna go. Cheers, bud. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening and get some sleep. Get some sleep. Right. That's that done. Oh, I need to put the lid on this before it all solidifies. Yeah. Don't think we're going to be streaming for too much longer anyway. How would DeX help with the Milo? It's just a nice interface. So, if you're running a touchscreen like this, a desktop interface is a lot easier to navigate with, I find, and DeX is pretty good with that, and the compatibility for DeX with a keyboard and mouse is actually pretty good. It's a bit wonky when you're using a keyboard and mouse on a normal Samsung display, but if you use it on an external display running DeX, it's a lot easier. It's a lot nicer. What am I doing? I need a button. I need a switch, not a button. That's the switch I was needing. That's the switch that's going to be installed. Cool. So now I have a way of getting a charger into the enclosure from outside into the electronics enclosure and charge the S21, which I'm literally going to DIN mount a phone. No one has ever done that in the history of ever, but I'm going to DIN rail mount a phone. What screen is that? Just some cheapo touchscreen I got off Amazon. I don't know, I've had it that long. I've always planned to use it in the mill. In a mill, but yeah. Just never got around to it. I've had so many machines through this shop at this point that I am just tired, hence why we're doing this build. I want permanent infrastructure that I can actually use. This is the vent, by the way. All right, let's go to the desk. Let's go to the desk and I can show you what the vent. So these bits, these ribs in the center are not there for any airflow reasons. They're just there to make the bridging a little easier. At the very bottom, you'll see two spots for M3 inserts. And where is that piece? So the way this is going to fit is there's going to be a TPU gasket on top of it. Then there's going to be the panel. And then on the other side of the panel is going to be the filter. So the infill in this case is acting as a filter, just to keep chips from being sucked in or getting stuck up there. All right. So this completely isolates, despite the fact that this is moving through the electronics bay, it completely isolates the air from the outside to not touch any of the electronics. And the only fan doing any of the electronics cooling is in the actual enclosure itself. Now you might notice there are some cutouts, but from the tests I've run, the overpressure that's in the electronics bay and the fact that there's a little deflector in here should mean that any of the overpressure that's in the electronics bay will seep in through here rather than the other way around. Right? So the cool air coming into the electronics enclosure should force any air into here rather than it leaking out. Whether or not it will work, I don't know. Like I said, there is a little wind deflector here, so any air going in gets deflected away from that hole. But yeah, who knows? Why not pull power from the main supply for a phone? Because you need 5 volt, and I don't have a 5 volt power supply. It's 5 volt for a phone. And then I want to use the USB on Siler and hook it up to one of the USBs here, so that I always have access if I need to flash or redo something or connect to the Siler in any way. Right? This USB is going to be for adding files manually if I need to onto the phone. So there's no way to get power in a clean way. Whereas if I just run a cable from the outside in, it's always got power. I never have to open up the electronic. This is another thing. This is another reason, right? If I attach it to the main power supply in here and turn the power off by the switch, the battery has a chance to run down. If the battery runs down, I have to physically turn it on because it doesn't auto power on like an iPhone does. I have to physically turn it on, which means taking the whole panel off. So if I have an independent power supply for the phone, no matter what the state of the mill is, the phone will always be on. And I don't need to worry about taking the panel off to turn it back on if it loses charge. There's another reason. Cool. Right. I think that is going to be us for stream today. Yeah. A way more productive stream than I was expecting. And glad to have you guys along. I wish my camera was working, this camera over here. That would have been a lot nicer. But yeah, thank you folks for coming. It is always a pleasure to have you around. If you haven't liked the stream yet, please do go ahead. If you don't want to, I'm not going to force you, right? If you want to buy any of the Millennium Machines merch, there are links down in the bottom to our little Polymatrix store. If you want to donate to the project and make sure that you have a proper impact on what we do here, there are some donation links in the bottom. Again, it's all optional, not going to force you, but it really does help move the project along. Helps me being able to afford panels and extrusions and all the fun stuff that we play with on stream. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you next time.